Thank you. I'll keep my remarks brief. I have a deep appreciation for my office hours, and one of them being that I had the opportunity to meet a brilliant young woman who brought this to my attention. And so often when parents experience a loss, that loss is often in solitude and often forgot about. And Councilwoman Sandoval, you often speak about the importance of remembering our ancestors and the importance of saying their names so that their memories are never lost. And unfortunately, as a mom, I've had this experience. And so when you came into my office in my office hours, it reminded me of my own grief as a mother. And so I really appreciate you honoring me and giving me the opportunity to do something so important in your life. And so thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. Councilmember Parody?
Yeah, I didn't, I heard this for the first time tonight. I didn't know that Councilmember Lewis was bringing this, and it's really beautiful, and I really appreciate it. I think, a third of women who eventually become mothers or something like that. It's a really huge number. I lost my first pregnancy. And one thing that I think about all the time right now is that we have sort of an invisible epidemic of women who are experiencing threats to their future reproductive health because of conditions that arise during a first pregnancy and the loss of reproductive rights that we've had in the country. And so it's, creeping up all over the place. But just the fact that we're now living in a place where somebody might experience complications the first time around, and then because of our loss of rights, wind up being unable to give birth in the future is really devastating. And connected to that, both of my kids eventually were born through IVF, which took a long time and a lot of heartache. And those kind of technologies don't have much of a future in a country where we can't do the science that's necessary to keep them advancing. So I just wanted to point that out as well, that we're not exactly moving in the right direction. And I'm really sorry to anyone who's been impacted by that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Flynn?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilwoman Lewis, for bringing this forward. It strikes very close to home. My wife, after her mom died and her father had passed, my wife and her younger brother discovered in cleaning out some of her materials, they found a paper from a funeral home in their hometown for the burial of a 3-day-old daughter that none of the 3 kids in the family knew had existed. And so over about a 2-year period, we made several trips back to Hammond, Indiana, where they grew up. And the child was buried in an unmarked grave in the large cemetery there in the city. We finally were able to locate the pin in the ground. It had been covered over because this occurred in 1937. We finally located the little pin after clearing away in a large area. And we found it, and we found her name. So she has a name, and her name is Catherine Alexic. And we bought a headstone and placed it there for her. So this is it'd be my pleasure to vote yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis?
I just have to say, because I was reminded from Councilman Flynn's words that when Ariana came to speak with me, one of the things that she shared was that when you have a miscarriage or you have a stillborn, that you often don't receive a death certificate. And so her work is exactly what you're talking about, is to be able to bring that kind of closure to families. And so thank you, Councilman Flynn, and thank you.
Councilmember Alvidrez?
Thank you. I wasn't going to say anything, but I think it's important that people know how common this is. And I think probably many of us have experienced this. I've experienced this. And I had totally forgot, Councilman Flynn, until you mentioned it, that this happened in my family. My sister was a twin, and Mary Elizabeth was my sister that passed away a few days after birth. So this is real grief. They're real people. And just thank you, Councilwoman Lewis, for your leadership in bringing this forward, because just like all of our ancestors, we shouldn't forget those that only visit us for a small time. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.